Hey, hi there, everybody. Now, certainly you've probably heard it by now. You've probably heard it by now. You may have heard it from more than one person. I'm talking about these people that say they just don't like President Trump. They just, they just don't like him. I don't like him. I just don't like him. I can't get myself to like him. I just don't like him. Well, I've been thinking about these people recently, and I came to the conclusion that we should start asking them some questions about what is it about President Trump that you don't like? I mean, that you dislike about him. You know, do you dislike that he directed the brokering of the first meaningful Mideast peace deal in decades? We hear now that he's probably going to be nominated for the Nobel Prize for that, or has been nominated for the Nobel Prize. Do you dislike that he made cruelty to animals a felony because he did that? Or don't you care about that? I don't know. Maybe you're not an animal lover, but that's one of the things he did. Do you dislike that he earmarked billions of dollars to stop the opioid crisis and made a real dent, in it? Or maybe you don't like that he destroyed ISIS, killed countless terrorists without going to war, even though people said he would start World War III, and he kept the peace all this time. Does that bother you? Do you really dislike that? Does it bother you that we're now energy independent and the largest energy producer in the world? I mean, I don't think this happened in my lifetime. I can't remember what had happened before. Do you dislike him because he started to build a wall to keep criminals and drug dealers and human traffickers from coming into our country? And because he respects, honors, and defends our country's borders? Does that bother you? Do you dislike him because he just slashed the price for prescription drugs, in some cases by 50%, which is driving big pharma crazy? Or do you dislike that he met with the leader of North Korea? He averted a war with that country and seems to have brought a halt to their aggressive missile testing. Was that wrong? Was there something wrong with that? Don't you like that he signed a law ending the gag order on pharmacists that prevented them from sharing money-saving options on prescriptions? Did it bother you that he signed the Save Our Seas Act, which funds millions per year to clean tons of plastic and garbage from the ocean? Does that bother you? Do you dislike that he signed a bill for airports to provide breastfeeding stations for nursing moms? You got something against that? Something wrong with that? Do you dislike that he signed the biggest wilderness protection and conservation bill in a decade that designated more than 375,000 acres as protected land? It made him the most significant conservation president since Teddy Roosevelt. I don't know. I mean, it sounds pretty impressive to me. Does it irk you that he loves America and puts Americans first? Is that the problem? Do you dislike that he made a gay man the ambassador to Germany and then asked that same guy to clean up national security, declassifying as much of it as possible for transparency? Do you dislike that he works for free, that he doesn't collect a salary, doesn't collect a single penny, and gives his money to a different charity each quarter, the money that he would have collected? Do you dislike that his economic policies have produced the lowest Black unemployment rate ever? Do you dislike that he listened to Senator Tim Scott and created opportunity zones to help minorities? Don't you like the fact that he passed prison reform, which gives people a second chance? And it's made quite a huge difference for minorities in particular, quite a big difference. Do you dislike that he produced the lowest Hispanic unemployment rate ever? Does it bother you that he passed VA reforms to benefit the very people who served our country and defended our freedom? Nobody else was able to get these reforms through. This was one of the first things he did. Do you dislike that he got rid of the job-killing NAFTA trade deal and got tough on trade with China and negotiated new trade deals with Mexico, Canada, and other countries that benefit American workers. Something wrong with that? Do you dislike that he loves our flag and embraces a policy of unabashed, non-apologetic patriotism? You have a problem with that? You dislike that he calls out the media and attempts to correct them when they are wrong? Don't you think that they should be corrected and there should be some check on their unbelievable power to influence you? Do you dislike that he's bringing troops home and ending America's longest war? He just announced another troop withdrawal. Did you want that war to continue? Did you just want it to go on and on? It was already the longest one. Do you dislike that he has made a commitment to end child trafficking and crimes against humanity? And his policies have brought thousands of arrests already. Maybe you don't like the fact that he just the other day extended the offshore drilling ban along both Florida coasts, as well as the coasts of Georgia and South Carolina. Does that really bother you? Do you dislike that he's brought home over 40 Americans held captive, and the last one from Iran? Don't you like the fact that he was a billionaire before he ran the presidency for president? And now there's worth at least 1/3 left, less than that, 1/3 less than that. He gave up a lot. You may not like to hear that, but it's true. He gave up a lot to do the job. Or do you dislike that he's making the world pay their fair share to the United Nations, which we had been footing the bill for all these years? Maybe you don't like that he respects cops, veterans, ICE, and all first responders. Do you dislike that he does not sell out America to other countries like the leaders prior to him have done? Do you dislike that he's forced our NATO allies and others to finally pay their fair share to support important multinational alliances? Those alliances have gotten billions of dollars in money that they should have gotten all along, finally, because of President Trump. Do you dislike that he moved our embassy in Israel to Jerusalem, which in fact is the rightful capital of the Jewish state? Do you dislike that he signed the right to try law, which allows terminally ill patients access to experimental therapies? Now, this isn't even a complete list of what President Trump has accomplished in 3.5 years. There's actually more, a lot more, but I think you get the point. I think you get the idea. Nobody is asking you to love President Trump. You don't have to love him, folks. Nobody is asking you to be his best friend. You don't have to do that, okay? You don't even have to have lunch or dinner or breakfast or a snack with him, okay? In fact, you don't even have to actually like him. But just take a moment to give this some mature thought. This is the presidency after all. And if you do that, you'll find that you might be less than fair and honest if you don't recognize all that he's accomplished for America. You wouldn't be fair and honest about it if you didn't. And he did this often against overwhelming odds and with powerful special interests aligned against him. So I'm asking you, I know it's tough, but please try to put aside the emotionalism and arbitrary and capricious preferences for now. I've given you a real list of actual policies and accomplishments. So avoid Please avoid the temptation to demonize the president. Please stop the vile and vicious name calling. And let's try to focus on who's really effective here, who's really able to accomplish things, who has the vision, and who has the stamina and determination to do the job, who's got the passion to do the job, who gets things done, and who's going to continue to solve our problems and keep America moving forward, even though there may be some things about him, that you don't like. So think it through. Use your noggin, okay? And if you do, then I think you'll do the right thing. You'll do the right thing for America, and you do the right thing for yourself and for your family, and you'll vote for President Trump. Thanks for listening.